Hi, this is Nathan Markley, and this is the Nathan Markley Show podcast. This show originally aired on WNRI 1380 AM and 99.9 FM on Friday, May 22nd, 2026. This is Season 3, Episode 10. Enjoy! Thanks for listening to this show. As an ad-supported show, we are always looking for new partners with products and services that will benefit our audience. Are you ready to grow your business? Reach out to advertise at nathanmarkley.net and launch your campaign now.
Yeah! Friday night! WNRI! Winding down slow, radio on, like he's riding shotgun all night long. Me and Nathan, that same old voice, stories rolling, easy choice. I'm staying in for the Nathan Markley Show every Friday night on my radio. From WNRI, yeah, the signal rolls through the walls, down to my soul. I'm staying in for the Nathan Markley Show. Let the whole town drive, I'll let 'em go. I'll be right here where the stories flow. Tuned in time to the Nathan Markley Show.
Well, hello everyone. How are you this Friday evening? Nathan Markley here, Rhode Island's Tech Geek. You're listening to the Nathan Markley Show on WNRI 1380 AM and 99.9 FM in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, photography, smartphones, tablets, automotive. No automotive talk today. Anything with the chip with it, pretty much. 401-766-1380 and 1-800-949-WNRI is the phone number. If you want to ask a question or make a comment or make a suggestion, that's the place to call. The number again is 401-766-1380 and 1-800-949-9674. There is a website where the show notes from the show go. It's called nathanmarkley.net/podcast. That's free. There's no sign up. There will be links there when I mention something or a product or something to go check out. Today it's just me in the studio again. My dad is out of state traveling for work, so that's okay because I have a great guest caller lined up coming up around 6:20 p.m. So 6:20, a Rhode Island photographer, Norm Marsh, joins us, legally blind, physically disabled, Special Olympics athlete, and he released a brand new book. Well, coming out. Actually, his book is coming out this weekend. So you don't want to miss that one at 6:20. So be sure to stay tuned or come back at 6:20. Yes. So be a great show. I can't wait. I'm very excited for that segment. Let's go right into this week's tech news. Some pretty big tech news. One is Google I/O. Google I/O is their developers conference that they had this week. So the developers that make Google apps and products and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And they've also announced a lot of stuff. One of the big things they announced is Google's AI assistant, which is called Gemini. And they changed the name to Gemini Spark. Well, not changing the name, but just adding on to it. And that's a always-on AI agent that runs in the background. Works across Google Workspace, connects to third-party apps, can interact with local files. The company's clearest answer yet to AI agent boom. It's pretty interesting that they create an always-on AI and to help us out. It looks like it's their own version of OpenClaw for everyday class. OpenClaw is another AI agent that lets you do different stuff and create like shorts within your documents, things you want to pretty much do. With Gmail, Docs, that's Google Docs, Google Drive, Google Shorts, Android, and all Google Cloud under one roof, Google may have the distribution need to make agents useful beyond demos. Let's see. GitHub performs. Oh, this is a big one. Yes, I'm going to be in this one. GitHub is a developer piece of software, the web thing that people post the code, but they had a data breach, which is released some code that they had, and they disclosed the security incident in which the police machine was compromised by malicious code extension that they downloaded, that employee downloaded, granting attackers access to internal repositories. Repositories like files, think of it like a storage, like a file folder in your computer, but it's in the cloud on their server, that they store files and code and stuff, that pieces of code is pieces of program that they're working on. The company detailed the attack vector and remediation steps in the May 20th thread, confirming the breach affected selected internal systems. The incident exposes risk in the developer toolchain, where widely used extensions can serve as supply chain attack vectors against major platforms. For startups and enterprise relying on GitHub for code collaboration and CI/CD, it underscores the need for stricter extension vetting and endpoint security in AI-driven workflows. Yeah, so I use GitHub to store all my code on it. And luckily, none of my stuff got breached. I did check into this, but it looks like it's just internally the company, the employee that works at GitHub installed a piece of extension to help them code, and that got no, they didn't know that it was not a good extension, malicious, and got access into their files, which is, I guess, one of the things you have to look out for. It's kind of common. A lot of times that's what happens when companies got data breached or hacked, is like an employee clicked on a link or installed a piece of software thinking it's good and secure, and it turns out it's not. That's the unfortunate thing. Yeah. All right. With that, I think that's a great time to take an ad break. And we'll be right back.
If you or anyone that you know would like to buy or sell a property, Lydia Smith, a realtor with the Century 21 Stahersky Agency, would like to chat with you. Lydia has over 15 years of experience in the real estate profession and is well known for her professionalism. She has sold many properties over the years as a professional realtor and is well respected due to her experience in and knowledge of the Northern Rhode Island real estate market. You will be pleased by her quick response, her attention to detail, and her remarkably high level of integrity. Having purchased 2 homes and selling another myself, I can appreciate Lydia's knowledge, success, and professionalism as a trusted realtor. You can reach Lydia by calling her at 401-808-0430. Lydia promises a quick response to your call. Again, call Lydia Smith, professional realtor, at 401-808-0430 for your property buying or selling needs.
The Nathan Markley Show on WNRI, 1380 AM, 99.9 FM, or online at WNRI.com or TuneIn Radio. Joining us on the phone is Rhode Island photographer who wants Out of the Norm photography, Norm Marsh, and he has a book coming out tomorrow, and let's introduce him right now. All right, so Norm Marsh, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, it's very exciting. I know we talked a little bit this week and in past, and I'm very excited to have you on. It's a good show.
Thank you.
So, Norm, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I am 36 years old, born and raised here in Rhode Island, and I was born with a disability called Spina Bifida with hydrocephalus, which, in a nutshell, is Spina Bifida is a birth defect to where you are born with a hole in your spine, and depending on where that hole is, determines the severity of the disability. It can literally just range from back pain to being in a wheelchair, not being able to feel from pretty much the chest down. And hydrocephalus is fluid to the brain, which that has left me legally blind. And other than that, I'm just, a regular guy who, just trying to make it in this world just like everybody else, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, and you're a photographer too, right?
Yes, I have been doing photography for close to 12 years now.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. Um, are you also still in the Special Olympics?
No. So I have not competed in the Special
Oh, okay.
Olympics in just about over a year.
Oh, okay.
Last year was my last powerlifting competition.
Uh-huh.
I competed in powerlifting for about 16, 17 years. And before that, other sports that I competed in are basketball, softball, track and field, all field events with that,
Mm.
bowling, soccer. But the big thing that I did was powerlifting, and I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic part of my life.
Yeah, powerlifting is fun. And that's the thing I do too is when walking out is I like lifting weights, and I always thought about getting
Right.
into powerlifting or bodybuilding too. Uh,
Awesome.
yeah. Did you
Very
when you competed? Did you win any the games, the place?
So, each year that I competed in powerlifting, I got first place, and I actually set numerous records for bench press
Oh,
in Rhode Island. I went to two nationals, one in 2010 to Nebraska, which was a lot of fun.
mm.
And then in 2018, I went to Seattle, Washington, and that was fantastic as well. Beautiful over there. And I got first in both of those.
Wow,
Yeah, thank you.
that's an amazing accomplishment too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um. So, how did you get started in photography, and how did you learn it?
So how I got started in photography actually is back when I was in high school. I graduated in '08,
Mm.
so it's been some time.
Yeah.
But back in 2007, when I was a junior, some friends of mine just decided to take a photography class as an elective,
Hmm.
and I thought, you know what? I want to be with my friends, so I'm going to take this class as well. Because a lot of us in high school want to be with our friends and all that. So I took the class and I fell in love with photography
Mm.
right then and there. And it just I would go out with just a little point and shoot Canon, Canon point and shoot, and I loved it. I would go out with my dad, and my dad he would take me out and he would actually help me with, seeming you can't stand up very long because I use crutches to help me walk due to my spina bifida. And he said, you might want to get low. So every one of my photos, if you ever look at them, I'm actually either sitting in the sitting position or I am on my knees. So I get
Okay.
low. I'm not at like the just a standing position when I'm taking my photos. But yeah, it was just uh, in high school I took it, and then after that, I kind of got away from photography because life just gets in the way sometimes. And
Yeah.
then when I went to college, I picked it back up, and I haven't put it down since.
Yeah. I
So,
it's a very fun hobby that can turn into something, a business.
oh, most,
I have
most definitely.
Yeah, I have a very similar story how I got started photography. I started in high school too. I think it was sophomore year. There's a photography club and was looking for activities to do after school, so I joined that. Always like being I'm on the camera, and just like you, I kind of fell in love with it. I like taking photos, and I was very good at it. And everyone that I showed my photos to said I had an eye for it, so I just kept doing it.
Pretty much the same with me. My teachers would always say, they said, you got an eye for photography, even though you're legally blind. And I was like, well, thank you very much. And just whenever I have a camera in my hand, it's
Hmm.
kind of like the world kind of like fades away in a sense, meaning that all the noise just gets blocked out and it's just me and my camera. And it's just, we all need an outlet, and photography is
Yeah.
my outlet. And when I do photography, I mainly do landscapes, but I've also done portraits, I've done family shoots, I've done car photography. But uh, say I'm doing a family shoot or I'm doing a portrait shoot. If I can just help the person that I'm taking photos of, my client, just get out of their own head and just be present in the moment, even if it's just for that one like second or just that one, half an hour we're doing our photos or whatever, then
Yeah.
I've done my job. Because again, it's just we're all in our own head. And if I can just help someone get out of their head, be it with my landscapes or just portraits, then that's really what I love to do, because photography is just fantastic. I fell in love with it and I still love it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
Um.
thank-
No, I got questions. You said you were legally blind. How does that
yeah.
work with you taking photos? Are you able to see a little bit of when you take photos of? I was just always
So,
wondering that.
So with that, actually, tomorrow I'm actually coming out with my very first coffee table book called Beyond Sight: The World Through My Lens.
Okay.
And it's a photography book of landscapes that I've taken, but also I have added quotes with them. And I don't want to give too much away about the book,
Yeah.
but the quotes are kind of universal, I would
Mhm.
say, to where, people can look at them and just get their own interpretation of the quote.
Yeah.
But also, there are 3 photos in the book that on the left side of the page, it's what I see through my camera lens. And then on the right side of the page is a close representation to how I see. Now, it's not exact, but it's
Okay.
kind of a close representation. So my peripheral vision is horrible. And then being able to see in front of me, it really depends on where I am, because if I'm in a familiar place, I will just see everything, I guess you could say, clearly or normally. And I put quotes around normal because, your normal is
Mm.
different than mine and everyone's normal is kind of different.
Right.
But so so everything is kind of clear. But say, for you, for example, I see you one day and that's how I picture you the next time I see you.
Right.
And then until you walk into frame, I will see how I saw you before. So if you have like a cut on your face, or if you have a black eye or something, I won't see that until you get close enough within my field of view, which again is,
Okay.
I would say, about like maybe 10 feet away from me,
Okay.
somewhere around there, 10, 15 feet. But I just do it. This is just my normal,
Yeah.
and this is how I've always been. So I just go about my day and just do it. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. That's very interesting. I like that concept where you have in your book that you have one page with what you see, and one page of what you want people actually see, or what you
Yeah.
want them to kind of see. Um, let them choose.
Well, thank you.
Let them decide what them to see. That's pretty cool. Um,
Thank you.
and I'm pretty sure having a camera that you can zoom in helps too, able to see a
Oh,
little farther, right?
oh, most definitely. I actually prefer zoom lenses over
Yeah.
just prime lenses, which
Yeah.
prime lenses, for those who are listening who don't know, is just have one number. So a 50 millimeter lens is just, a prime lens. As for 70 to 200, that goes from 70 millimeters all the way to 200.
Mhm.
And I love zoom lenses for the fact of I can see better, because if
Yeah.
I kind of see something that's off in the distance, I can just put a zoom lens on and be like, okay, this is actually what I thought I was seeing, or okay, this is not what I thought it was, but maybe I can still take a photo of this. But also because I cannot run due to my disability. So if you see me running, you better run as well, because there's something that's chasing me. But anyways, I like zoom lenses because if I can't get to the photo that I want, I can just zoom in and hope that I got the right angle or a good angle to be able to just get that shot.
Hmm. Yeah. Zoom lenses also help, and what I like for zoom lenses is I can be a distance away and still get that shot, like you mentioned.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you use any specialized software when you go to edit your photos on the computer to
So
help
the
you?
only editing software that I use is Lightroom and Photoshop.
Okay.
That's it. I go in there and I mainly use Lightroom, just to brighten the colors a
Yeah.
little bit and to crop. But then I'll bring it into Photoshop and say, because of my vision the way it is, if there was a photo that I took and there was someone walking behind someone, or if there was something on my lens that I didn't see, I can remove that in Photoshop. But I personally like to try to keep my photos as close to natural as possible. But also because photography is not as subjective,
Mm-hmm.
if I think a photo should be a little moodier or a little bit more colorful, I will do that. But I try to make them as close to natural as possible.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. I've used Photoshop and Lightroom before. That's how I got started and used
Nice.
law
Awesome.
on college. And then I didn't want to pay the subscription fees of Adobe, so I switched over to Capture One,
Uh,
which is very similar to Lightroom, just a job. And another question I have about the process of when you edit it, I'm pretty sure you have like a big monitor next to you, so it helps you see better, right?
Actually, no. I just have a regular laptop and I just sit pretty close to the screen. So
Okay.
you know how our parents always said, "Don't sit so close to the screen when we were younger." At least
Yeah.
my parents used to. It kind of helps me out now because I sit kind of close to my screen, and that's why and it helps me out sometimes. But also I have taken my laptop and hooked it up to my TV because
Um,
that's a bigger screen, just in case I need it. But the laptop worked out well for me.
yeah. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Um, so what do you like most about photography?
Uh, Honestly, just being able to be out and again, like I said, when I have my camera in my hand, the world shuts off in a way.
Mm,
And I can literally just be, because again, we're all in our own heads and we all need an outlet, and photography is just my outlet. And if I can just create and just, just take photos and just be creative.
yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, for me, photography is it's nice to just go out and see pictures and also just capture the moment. But
Hmm.
also it's kind of like a nice like stress release too.
Oh yeah, most
Especially when
definitely.
you go out in nature or either by the ocean or up in the woods, you take photos and you're walking around and trying to find that shot, and you kind of focus on that thing, that subject, whatever you want to take, and try to get that right shot and figure out the settings, if it's the aperture or the ISO or your shutter speed to get something, to create something, which is
Oh
nice.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Uh, so you said you have a book coming out tomorrow, called
Yeah.
was behind what was it called
No,
again?
Beyond,
Beyond. That's it.
Beyond, sight, SIGHT, and then
That's it.
the world through my lens.
Beyond. Yep. Yeah, that's yeah, I have it right here in my notes. Yeah. So question I had first, then congratulations on coming out with a coffee book, and this is your first one.
Thank you very much. And yes, this is my very first coffee table book. I've wanted to make a coffee table book for years, but actually back in 2020, I wanted to make a coffee table book just about the pandemic.
Mm,
But then that, just kept going and going.
yeah.
So, and then life got in the way. So that didn't happen. But I've wanted to come out with one for a very long time. And this this book probably took me like a full year and a half, just planning and then just actually putting it together. And so, but yeah, I'm very excited for this to come out tomorrow.
Yeah, most definitely. So mm, the what I have a question is, uh, you probably have so many photos you've taken over the years. How did you go and choose which photos to include in the book?
So I appreciate that question. Honestly, I just started looking through all the photos that I had, and I had so many different concepts for this book of what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of just fell into place to where, again, I don't want to put too much out there of this book
Yeah.
because I want people to be able to have their own interpretation of the book.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But it kind of, there are different seasons, I'll tell you that. And then there are quotes. They're all quotes that I have come up with myself. Not every single page has a quote, but there are quotes with the some of the photos. And it's just without giving away too much, it's just I I have a lot of photos that go along with the quote. So it's not just
Mm-hmm.
like a generic quote of like, here's a flower or something. It's just quotes that work well for what I put in the book, and
Yeah.
there's just different seasons in the book as well.
Yeah, yeah. You have
Yeah,
photos and quotes that kind of represent each other that when you were looking at them. Right.
exactly. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's 90. It's 100 pages. The book is 100 pages, and they are all taken in Rhode Island.
Okay.
So yeah.
Where when the book comes out tomorrow, right? Where can people find it and go order it?
So you can go on Amazon and you can order it from Amazon, or tomorrow I'm waiting for a box of books to get delivered to my place, because you can also order through me, and I will sign each copy that people buy through me. On Amazon, it's going to be $34.99, and then if you buy a signed copy from me, that's going to be $45.
Yes. And people can buy a copy through on your website?
No, so I actually do not have a website at the moment.
Oh,
I only have a Facebook page, which is Out of the Norm Photography.
okay.
Or I have a Instagram page as well, which people can message me there if they would like to buy a signed copy from me. And my Instagram page is Storman, STORMAN _ Normand, NORMAND. And then you can, you know, go on there. And if you would like to buy a signed copy from me, you can go there. Or you can go on to Facebook onto Outta, OUTTA, the Norm Photography. Send me a message over there. And I can we can work out how you would like me to send you your book.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
thank you.
Yeah, so they have listeners have two different options to get your book and check it out, either through Amazon and contact you for Facebook and Instagram. And I will leave links to those in the show notes, everyone. And once the Amazon link goes live, I'll put that in there too.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So no, as a photographer, do you have any tips or piece of advice for anyone looking to take up photography?
Yeah, just bring your camera everywhere you go.
Mm,
In all honesty, bring your camera everywhere you go, because you never know where you're going to be inspired. Um, when I first started photography, I brought my camera literally everywhere I went,
mhm.
and it never left my side. And then also, don't be afraid to do something that out of the ordinary in a way, because you will have some people saying, "Oh, you're not supposed to take photos this way. You're not supposed to take photos that way." Well, if you got the basics down, which there's this thing called the exposure triangle, which is your aperture, your shutter speed, and your ISO. Once you learn that, and you can pretty much do what you want, because again, photography is art, not subjective.
Mhm.
Unless you're working for a company, then yes, you have to do what they say. But my tips are just literally bring your camera everywhere, and don't really put too much if someone says something negative about your photos, because you can pick out who is being honest with you on who's trying to help you and who's just being, rude or mean. Because again, like I've said it twice, I'll continue saying it. Photography is not subjective. Um, so just photograph and find something that you really like to photograph and just learn. How I learned was I took a class in high school, then I took a class in college, and then after that, YouTube is your best friend. I just looked up a whole bunch of people on YouTube, and I would just sit there and watch hours and hours of YouTube videos, and then went out and practice, 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 practice. There's a quote out there. I don't know who said it, but they said your first 10,000 photos are your worst photos. And I mean, I personally think I've taken over 10,000 photos. I've never counted, but
Yeah.
it's kind of true. Like I feel like you're always learning with photography as well. You're always,
Yes.
learning something new.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Every time I take photos every day for if it's for myself or at work or something, I've always learned something different, move in a different way, or move the people in a different way, or maybe like you said, get low, take a photo. Um, I think I was somewhere for an event at work, and I was taking a photo at my normal height, and then I realized if I just sit down or kind of kneel down and point the camera up a little bit, I get a better shot, and it came out
hmm
um, better than I thought it would. But yeah, I'm always
oh yeah,
learning, especially with lighting too, and learning how to use the lights, like the
oh yeah.
outside. I love using the daylight, like windows, the natural light, than artificial light, because I get a whole much better different image. Yeah,
To be honest with you, I love natural light as well over flash,
yeah.
and also just like you said before with the different angles. I actually just recently, last week, I went to a school
Mhm,
and I taught the students just a little bit about photography and everything. And I told one of the students, I said, try to find an everyday object and just try to get a different angle.
mhm.
Like, don't stand it, at, don't have your camera at, eye height while you're standing. Try to get low, try to get to the side. And a couple of the students really kind of blew my mind because when they showed me their photos, I was like, how'd you get this? And they told me, well, you said to get a different angle. So I saw this flower that was inside of this tree, stump over here. So I just took my phone because they had phones, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah,
And they just stuck their phone in there and they said, I got this angle. And I looked and I said, this is fantastic. This is a beautiful shot of
yeah,
just an ordinary flower. But because you had that different perspective, it makes this flower look totally new.
yeah, definitely. And you mentioned phones too. Yeah, I mean, using your phone, what you have, too, you don't have to go out and buy a really big, expensive camera too when you get started, right?
Yeah, when you get started, phones are fantastic. Phones are really good, but I mean, everyone's different with this, which is totally understandable. We all have our own opinions and everything, which is fine. But phones can only do so much, and then
Yes.
you got to get yourself a DSLR or a mirrorless camera because that's it just brings your work from like stay at 7 all the way up to that 10. Like it just adds something else. It's
Hmm.
there's more. You can do more with an actual camera than you can with a cell phone. But when you're first starting out and you're learning framing and just taking photos, go out. That's how I started.
Yeah.
Actually, I started with a iPhone 8,
Oh wow.
and I was just out taking photos, and I loved it. And that's how I started with in college because people are like, "Oh, you should take a class in college," and I was like, "Oh, well, maybe I will." And I started and went over there, and I loved it. I honestly, I loved the class.
Yeah, and even those simple point and shoot cameras that are a couple $100, sometimes you get them on sale too, work perfectly fine for beginners because
Oh,
they
most
do a whole
definitely, yeah.
lot.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, as long as you can learn framing, you can learn shutter speed, and you can learn aperture. which I understand point and shoot. Sometimes you can't change your lenses, but you can still learn a little bit of aperture with those.
Yeah, 'cause I think every camera will show you at the end, if you depending on what software you use to edit, what the shutter speed, the aperture is, and the ISO. So you can by looking at those numbers, and you can see like, oh, that's why the camera decided to use that, or maybe would have used like this aperture, or this shutter speed for a photo.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Do you have any other tips for our listeners?
Uh, just if you're into photography, honestly, just go out and photograph. Honestly, if all you have is your cell phone, use your cell phone.
Yeah.
If you have, an expensive camera, go out and use your expensive camera. If you like to read books, read up on photography. Or if you don't like that, again, I am me personally. Fun fact: I am not a big reader at all. So for me to make a book, I was very surprised that I made myself a coffee table book because I am not a big reader. But YouTube is your friend. You do not need to take classes or anything. By all means, if you want to take a class and you like that one-on-one with a teacher and that you like that hands-on, take a class. But if you don't like that type of learning, you can learn a hell of a lot from YouTube.
Yes, I agree. I took a class in college too for photography, but I learned a lot more just by going out there and taking photos and also watching YouTube. A YouTuber that I watched that I learned a lot from was Peter McKinnon. He's a great YouTuber.
Peter McKinnon is fantastic.
Yeah.
I've watched so many hours of that man. Just he is a great teacher. But you also said something that is fantastic, and it's very true. You got to go out there and photograph. Like you can watch as much content as you want, but if you are not going out there and actually trying to use the things that you have learned, then it's not going to work out.
Yeah. Do you have I know you said you like zoom lenses. Do you have a favorite zoom lens that you like to use?
So I have a 24 to 70 f4 lens that barely leaves my camera. And if it does leave my camera, then I put on my 70 to 200 for zoom. But other than that, I've been pretty much using the same two lenses for the last. Well, I've been doing it for almost 12 years, so probably like 8 years. I've been using the same lenses. I have not bought any new lenses.
Yeah. Those are two good lenses to have in your kit. All right, so here's a question: Canon or Sony?
Neither. Me personally, I shoot Nikon. I use Nikon.
Okay, I keep forgetting about Nikon.
But in all honesty, it's not what I think people should worry more about is the glass that you're using, the lens that you're putting on your camera. That is more important than the camera body, because nowadays cameras are fantastic. It doesn't matter if you're shooting with a Sony, if you're shooting with a Canon, if you're shooting with a Nikon, if you're shooting with a Fuji. That's just the tool. And what you should be more worried about is what type of glass you are using on that camera body.
Yes. And for anyone listening, glass is the lens too that you
exactly. Yeah, the lens. Sorry.
A few more questions I have for you, Norm. Yes. Do you have a favorite photo that you ever taken?
I actually have a couple. So back in 2020, my nephew asked me to take his graduation photos, and that was very special to me that he asked me to take those. And then I actually just today got done taking my niece's prom photos from her senior prom, and those are right up there with my favorite photos. Just to have my niece and nephew ask, "Hey, do you mind taking our photos?" It just it really means a lot to me. And then also one of my favorite landscape photos is actually on is the cover of my book, which is of a dock.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the very first photos that I ever took from my during my photography class back in college.
Oh, cool.
So,
awesome. I have a lot of photos. I don't know which one's my favorite. It's really hard to choose.
Sometimes it is.
Oh, actually, no, it was in high school is when I used a point and shoot. It was what was it? It was like it looks like almost like a Christmas holly bush with berries and
Okay.
leaves on it. But it was really the way I zoomed in. It got close to the camera, the subject with the camera, came out really nice. And the fact that it was just a simple point and shoot camera was really showed me that you could do a lot.
Awesome. That's fantastic. I hope to see that photo one day.
So I know we talked a little bit about this, about the book, but where can people find your work, or they want to hire you to take photos? Also, what kind of photos do you take where people can hire you for?
So you can just my Facebook page. You can find me there. My Instagram page, you can find me there. You can talk to me, and I do pretty much everything but wedding. I give wedding photographers all the credit in the world. I really do. It's just not my cup of tea. It's really not. But I do portraits. I do family shoots. I do landscape. I've done car photography. So if you I've had people ask me, hey, I've got this really interesting photo idea that I want to do, and it's it's kind of like that show Rick and Morty, where someone wanted a Rick and Morty photo shoot, and I went, okay, let's talk about it, and we made it work. So if someone has an idea too, I'm always up to trying out the ideas and seeing what results we can get from those.
Awesome. And can people buy your photos too, other than the book?
Oh yeah, yeah. If someone messages me and they say, "Hey, I like this photo right here," like if they bought my book and they just want one specific photo, they can message me and say, "I like photo on page 56," and I'll be like, "Okay, well, what size would you like?" And then I will have that printed out. I will sign the back of that photo, and I will send it out to you to wherever you live, and so you can have it. The only thing I do not do is frame. I do not frame anyone's work.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't frame any of my work for people.
yeah, that's understandable because people can choose different frames based on what they want to hang out, maybe not use it for a frame to hang it up. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So I have one last question. It's a question I'd like to ask a lot of my guests on my podcast now, especially with those in Rhode Island. As a fellow New Englander and Rhode Islander, what's your favorite go-to restaurant or food?
Well, I haven't been out to eat in a while, so I can't really answer that question. And also, I just love to eat. Like I just love food. I don't really have
So
a certain
say
dish that I like.
say you have friends coming into Rhode Island to visit, where are you sending them to go eat? To ask you for a place to eat, where you're sending them?
Oh geez, you're putting me on the spot. It depends if they like Italian or if they like French, Chinese. It, I really and honestly cannot answer that because it's been so long since I've actually gone out to a restaurant. But if someone happened to ask me that, then I could probably look at some restaurants and be like, I recommend this place. But just off the top of my head, I can't do that.
Okay, sounds good. So it looks like you're kind of sending people, just based on what they like and find a good place for them. Well, so I mean, you kind of like get a little bit of everything too, which is totally okay. Well, Norm, thank you very much for being a guest this evening on the show.
Well,
And
thank you for having me. I
congratulations on your
appreciate it.
book.
Thank you.
Yep. And good luck with your photography business. And everyone, I'll leave links that you can follow Norm and check out his work and check out the book in the show notes. And Norm, I know you and I are going to touch base in probably next month or so to go out and take some photos. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. And thank you for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it. And I hope to be on again someday. But I thank you again for having me.
Yes, thank you. And have a great Friday evening and weekend.
You as well. You have a good one.
You too.
Talk to you later.
Yep, bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. This is Nathan Markley with Island's Tech Geek. We're going to take a short ad break, and then we're going to wrap up the show. You're listening to the Nathan Markley Show on WNRI 1380 AM and 99.9 FM, Woonsocket, Rhode Island. And thanks to Libsyn for hosting this show. You can listen to the replay for this week, previous weeks, and even future shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere else you can listen to a podcast. Use my unique promo code Nathan, Nathan, to get a free month of podcast hosting from Libsyn. And just like for my show, Libsyn can help you get your show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify anywhere you want, get crucial stats to help you grow, find all the tools and support you need to sound your very best. You can even do video. Really bring your podcast to life with Libsyn. See show notes for my unique Libsyn promo code and get podcasting today. The Nathan Markley Show at WNRI 1380 AM and 99.9 FM or online at WNRI.com. Well, everyone, it is about that time to wrap up today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you enjoyed having Norm on, and it was very good segment. He did well, and congratulations again, Norm, for your book launch tomorrow. I definitely look forward to checking that book out. Can't wait to see it and what you have. And then thank you all for listening tonight and being here with me this Friday night. I appreciate you being here. If you missed any part of the show or want to listen back, catch the replay on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Thanks for spending your part of your evening, Rhode Islanders, and with me. And we'll talk to you all next week. Have a great night, Rhode Island. The Nathan Markley Show, WNRI, and Rhode Island's Tech Geek.
Another Friday in the books, laugh lines running through the show. You've been riding every turn through the highs and the low. We're closing out the Nathan Markley Show. Thank you for the time you chose. Same place, same dial, you know. See you next week on WNRI. Show on WN.